thumbs to yourself. All right. Here we are live. Welcome to episode 13, guys, of the Aftercast, the late night Transformers podcast. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by a whole bunch of guys here. If you want to introduce yourself, we'll start with the Golden Boy, Charles.
I'm the Golden Boy. I got in first this week.
I'm Charles. You can find me on Twitter at Optimus4Prez, and Xbox Live is AutoCon365.
Right on. Chris?
You can find me on YouTube and Facebook at Barra Prime Games, and any game, type in Barra Prime, ask if it's Chris. If I say yes, you know it's me. So.
What if they say yes anyways?
Then I didn't think that far ahead.
All right.
Just assume it's me.
And you're up next, Dakota.
Oh no, I already introduced myself. Remember, I went first. Yep.
We'll wait on Dakota.
No, I already introduced myself. I went first, remember?
All right. We'll skip Dakota and go on to Dalton.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube at DaltoniansTF Reviews and on Twitter at DaltoniansTF95.
Jay?
Find me on Twitter at NemesisJazz13.
And you can find me on YouTube and Twitter at VictorySaber77. And Josh is not here. G1 Hexatron, he is working. He didn't want to hang out with us. But he might be watching us live. He might be one of our viewers, since we have two right now, which I appreciate you guys watching us live. And
he is live, then G1 sucks. Just saying.
If you like Josh, just leave a comment and I will boot Jay out, if you like. There we go.
Just watch one of the random...
Christ, there's like 15 comments telling us to boot Jay now.
Right on. Don't forget to check out our website, www.cybercastnetwork.com. We have a contest going on over there. Once we hit 100 subscribers and you subscribe to my channel, Josh's channel, G1 Hexatron, Dakota's channel, Primal Sabbath, we will enter your name into, and the Cybercast Network, forgot about that one. We will enter you into a drawing to win one of our nice little t-shirts that I'm wearing right here. And follow us on.
One that I've already worn, too, free of charge.
We'll wash it. No worries.
No, not washed. I have my funk all over it.
Okay, well, all right. Follow us on Twitter, CybercastNet, and like us on Facebook. All right, guys, so topic-wise, we were kind of talking about some weird stuff, so we're not going to probably air that, but...
Wait, go back to the one about cousin kissing again? No.
Yeah. Keep your hobbies to yourself there, Dakota. No.
It's a lifestyle.
Let's dive into... we kind of talked about some stuff on Cybercast. Is there anything that... have you guys watched the Cybercast? I know, Dalton, you were there. Chris, you were there.
I didn't.
Real quick, we just got 3 comments from Josh saying, boot Jay, boot, boot.
It did?
Yep. First
Yeah,
message
he
he
did
sent,
say
though,
that.
was, I'm G1 Hexatron. You can find me at work.
It says boot day, then just says boot.
Well, let me see here.
Das Boot.
Aziza Zane?
So, we lost Jay. Hopefully he'll come back. He's going to come back pissed off. I won't give him any strikes, but...
Speaking of swear words, before we get into a topic real quick, I was watching BBC America, and apparently it is kosher to say shit on TV now.
Yeah,
so I believe that gives me a little more freedoms here.
He was just so quiet, didn't expect it to happen, and it was just like... just gone from the bottom.
all right. See if he comes
Sorry, Jay, come back.
back. I tweeted him. Hopefully he'll come back. All right, well, anything you guys want to talk about from the Cybercast? Anything that really interests you guys that you're just like...
looking some more at the X2 Toys clones. They look deluxe scaled.
Yeah, they
I
look
mean,
like they're in that in-between stage.
yeah, like well, they had them compared next to Hoist, which is a pretty small deluxe.
Yeah.
But Hoist looked pretty far close, like pretty up close to the camera too.
And then we had Masterpiece Prowl.
And we
Which
know
they went up to about his shoulder, but they were a little bit further back from him too. I don't know, probably large deluxe.
Yeah. Back to the scale that we're kind of used to.
hmm And
Anything else, guys? Or should we just...
trying to.
all right, it was a good show.
Yeah, it's been fun. So yeah, we're gonna cut it short this week. Good 7 minutes into it.
I was kind
So-
of knocked off about the whole like Grimlock upgrade. I thought that was just really, it was like what's the word? Cheesy. Like cringe is like Hegemon. I mean, ooh, that's a nice piece, but that is just like, why? I mean,
So you think the
what made
flames
you
are
think
too
it's
weird?
like me Grimlock hit you with Flame Fist even though I have sword, which might be more effective, but Flame Fist! It doesn't make sense. It looks so... I mean, well, for me, I wouldn't get it anyway, just because I had the reissue, so you use the
Well,
Flame add-on for that and just close his jaw, and he holds it pretty nicely anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, that and the crown looks like he's going Super Saiyan.
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
All of these are things that like totally help the argument for me. I think.
Well, I never said I had a problem with it, so.
I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with going Super Saiyan.
See, for the Hegemon thing, it's just, one, you have to have the fig, and that figure is expensive. And then you're going to be getting this stuff to add on maybe, it's a nice head. Get 2 heads there and whatnot. And then the feet, but like what we said on the Cybercast, when you transform into his gun mode, you have to take those off. And where do you store them? And it just seems kind of like a waste that they didn't integrate that into both modes. The whole Grimlock thing, I'm kind of getting tired of the whole flame type of add-on stuff. I mean,
It's too generic.
Yeah.
just getting kind of old, but that's just me. But
And as far as the TFC Protectobots,
mhm.
I'm definitely down with them. I mean, they look pretty good so far.
Are you going to buy them individually, or are you going to wait for a
I'm
set?
probably gonna wait, but knowing how impatient I am, I'll probably go ahead and just buy them individually.
Have like an angel and devil on your shoulder. It's like, click the buy button. No!
But-
Can't do it!
But
Yeah, it's
but
not
as
like
far
it's
as the Predacons go, I'll wait till the rest come out.
For the Mastermind Creations?
For the TFC, I might go ahead and
Oh,
just go
TFC.
with them.
Yeah. See, one thing that I like about the Protectobots is the whole Scramble City now. They all have the same ports, so you can actually mix and match, which will be kind of cool with
Well,
Uranus and... Well,
Assuming they're, yeah.
well, it looked like he had Gumball there had the same kind of port that all the rest of them had, but I mean, yeah, again, assuming, but it would be kind of cool.
I mean, because I don't know if you could Scramble City the aerial bots either, could you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
you can do it with Devastator, with Hercules.
Yeah.
Mix and match.
Oh, I think
Oh, I thought you meant-
legs were the only ones you weren't they like built a little differently for the Uranus?
But which one? The Uranus was different than
No, I mean the ports were the same, but like
Yeah.
as far as like true Scramble City, where one of the leg bots could be one of the arms or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Not the mix and match
Oh.
parts with different combiners.
I mean, mix and match will more than likely work, yeah. But
Yeah.
not.
No, I haven't tried that. I
Scramble
might try that. I don't know. I'll have to look into that since I got both those figures, so we'll see. But it's kind of a nice little added bonus. I don't know.
I still
Well,
need to get limb number 2 for TFC Hercules. Still on number 1. I'm a late bloomer, but I'll get there eventually.
So you only have one of the bits for Hercules? One of the you have an arm and that's it.
It's it's neck breaker and that's it.
I'll
I think
just
it's like
turn
I'll see on eBay like 55 quid, something like that. It's like 54 is like we're making progress. It will go down. You will go down. Just wait for it to get to 50. It's like well you're at 50, so I've knocked you down like 5-10 quid. Go another 5-10, and yeah. But by then the plastic will probably just rot. So screw my logic really.
Yeah, I'm
And-
curious. I mean, why wait so long? I mean, obviously maybe price, but is it something you kind of want to get down the road, or just, I got one, maybe I'll just end up getting
I don't
something
know.
else?
I want to see it, but it's like I want to get it because I don't want to get Make Toys because Make Toys is I like G1, but I like nods more than anything. I like things that's like you can tell it's him, but it's not directly him. It's not like articulated G1. Is the reason why I go for third party is because I want to see their updated modern version. I don't want to see an articulated G1 toy. So that's why I want to go for TFC. But with them is, well, yeah, mainly I don't really have the money at the moment for it, and there's other figures I'd want out there. So it's like every single time it's like, right, building up money, about to buy it. Quake Wave? Oh, okay. Grimlock? Metroplex? You see patterns, so I never get around to actually buying them because there's too much. All my budget goes to like new things. I just waited too long on it, basically. Unless I can find a nice combo pack, which someone did sell, which was up on eBay for about all of 20 minutes, or 5 for like 200 quid, which that's £100 off, but didn't do it. Here you go.
See, what's funny is, as far as looking more G1, I think the TFC pulled that off better than Make Toys did for the individual figures.
Yeah, but as far as like just alt mode goes, Make Toys definitely pulled a better G1 Devastator off, where TFC pulled off a much better IDW Devastator.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my situation in a nutshell.
And as far as the TFC Predacons go, they're not bad. The only one I'm kind of iffy about is the Headstrong with that rhino head thing.
I forget which one's which. There's so many out there. Which one's TFC? Is that the really, really bulky one?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
See, and that's what I like about TFC toys is they have got that blocky, chunk to them.
It's more of like the personality. I mean, he's a beast. He's gonna be beefy. He's gonna be chunky. You don't want him to be like some basketball player, which one of them, that might be Make Toys. Honestly, I forget all the ones that's doing it. But the basketball sort of Predaking, I like to call him. He's like way too like tall, way too skinny. It's like someone with raw power can't hold that much strength in like a little twig leg. I mean, TFC, you can see if he kicks you, it's gonna rattle your ancestors. Basically, with that one, it's just like getting kicked by a child, which still hurts, but not, basically.
The only thing that really bugs me about the color scheme for uh, their Headstrong is just how bright the red is, or how deep it is. I I don't know how to describe it. It's just too much of a red, not that red orange that we're used to with the Predacons.
What's up with like the red leg and the yellow leg? The yellow like is a major eyesore for me. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like people said, it probably is G1. I mean, sorry for my ignorance, but I've never owned a toy, so I can't exactly recall where it is. But is it supposed to be yellow?
Oh, for Headstrong in combined mode?
Think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
supposed
what
to
it
be
is.
red, and Tantrum is supposed to be orange and red.
Why did they change colors?
What do you mean?
I swear, on one of the limbs, on one of the Predakings is you've got like one yellow leg and one orange or red leg.
Yeah, unless I did say red and red.
Yeah, you said like red and orange for both of us. It's like
Oh, yeah. then I got my words mixed up. Yeah, it's always been that yellow and the other being orange.
That's one thing. I mean, it's not like a major thing that puts me off, but if I was to have it, and
It is
if I was
noticeable.
like decent. Sorry.
I said yes. It's one of those things that's noticeable, and if you've kind of got one of those OCD things, it can really irritate you.
From a guy that doesn't know a lot about when it comes into like G1 toys, because I've only got like a really small collection of G1 era toys, but it's like for someone out of that sort of zone, it's like say from a third party point of view, a third person point of view. Sorry, I'm looking at this like. I mean, if I was really good at painting, I mean, I wouldn't because I would destroy the damn thing. But if I was good at painting, I would make him the same color as everyone else just to look thing. It looks like he's wearing like a prosthetic leg or something and just got some, you know.
Yeah, but then you also take away from the individual figure too,
Yeah.
which either way you're going to be more than likely people are going to be putting it in combined mode. So I don't know. The
Everyone.
multiple weird colors doesn't bother me. What were you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say everyone loses. Ha 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 ha.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, was there ever a? Well, I'm just throwing random stuff at you, but it's like you got stuff like, you know, Metroplex, Metro Titan, so on and so forth. Was there anything that, like I don't know, like Diaclone or anything like that? Was anything say was Predaking inspired by anything else, or was it like original? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think Predaking was just like Predaking. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he was in Diaclone figure.
I think it was a original Hasbro.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Pretty much anything after the movie was original from Hasbro.
What the hell?
I'm guessing, anyways.
All right, guys, real quick. I know this is gonna sound weird, but how do I get Jay back in here?
You just
We
I
supply
guess you send him
cookies.
a private message on Twitter.
Well, I sent him an invite, but he's blocked.
Oh, dude, unblock him then.
How do you unblock?
You gotta go to. There should be a block list somewhere, and I don't know, unblock him or like send it to his Gmail or something like that.
What, the invite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can maybe find like go to his Google Plus page and unblock him from his Google Plus page. I don't know if it's.
It's always been like that.
Huh.
Dude, I don't know. Google changes up stuff like every 3 hours, so.
Why wouldn't he put something up here, like a regular update part? It's like, this is what we're changing. For example, the whole thing is like, you can now see how many people are viewing in live and stuff like that. That must have been done, what?
Chris,
Yesterday?
that makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Since I didn't get to talk to you about it yet, but thinking about earlier today about another, BotCon figure, if they were to use the mold and, kill two birds with one stone, Windraiser and Silverbolt from Armada Starscream.
Armada Starscream is going to be too new.
I know, but as I was saying, if they were to use the mold.
It would be pretty tight. I mean it's kind of like
know,
the whole Shocker Act from what Protoform X is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, essentially, that Shocker Act, I believe, would be able to be used as a substitute for what Shocker Act was before he found the Dark Essence.
What would be better is if they used the Voyager Megatron for Shocker Act.
Yeah, but then again, they don't have that. They don't have that Rampage head scaled for that. So, I honestly was kind of thinking that maybe that would be the custom class figure. Would be Shocker Act. And the only reason I say that is because go back to BotCon 2008. That custom class figure was Shatterglass Nightbeat. They were able to get a that second use out of that head tooling, and essentially, which I mean, both you were able to combine it with the regular Nightbeat for like super crazy Nightbeat, always arguing with himself. Nightbeat, I guess. I don't know. But that's what I would think that maybe the custom class figure would be. Although I could really be wrong, and I kind of hope I'm wrong, but to me it's gonna be super hard to kind of like just for anyone who's like just completely terrible, like I am, who has no previous real customizing skills beyond just a few things, to go in there and paint a gradient onto that plastic.
See, if I were to say, guess who the customizing class figure would be, it'd probably be Red Alert from the Ratchet mold using the cannonball head.
Pete already said that wasn't going to be the case. They weren't using. They weren't going to do Red Alert at all this year with that new head. So that's
a no-go.
That's a no-go.
It would have been interesting though.
What about I hope I'm saying the name right. Macabre, whatever. The dude that leads Squadron X. From the Black Shadow mold.
Oh, wow.
That's what people were clamoring for, but at the same time, it's like if you're reading Tornado's journals, he's dead, so there's that, but I mean, I don't know. It's really anyone's guess, I think, at this point. And it's also completely possible that the custom class won't even fit into this year's story, although last year Blast Charge did. Granted, Blast Charge was just a Strika clone, so chances are this year's custom class figure could play just as little of a role, just as insignificant, I guess, since they are offering it as a mass unpainted, pre-assembled figure too, so we'll see, I guess. Any more questions?
One thing I've always wanted to know, which I know probably not, but BotCon Europe ever again after the last time, or is it just like too so from last time?
Well, here's the thing. The reason BotCon Europe didn't really, I guess, go anywhere, and it was kind of like quote unquote bad, I guess. Glenn Hallett blamed everything on just the European fan community. The one exclusive he wanted to make, he was only able to, like, the minimum he was able to have produced was 3,000. Just due to the nature of the G1 keychain mini bots. That was the minimum number any of the factories would do. So he was like, oh, well, product didn't sell out. Granted, the Glyph and Tap Out didn't sell out either at the American BotCon, but then again, there were two full-sized figures that did, So that it was a totally different organizer, so it's like maybe it's like would BotCon ever return to Japan again? Different organizer. So would FunPub take it to Europe or Japan? Very likely not. Would maybe if someone had the resources, the monetary resources to lease the BotCon name out from Brian Savage and what all it comes with for a European convention? Very possible. Granted, it wouldn't really have much of a tie to the Collectors Club that we know in America. It would just be its own separate leased out, very much like how Hasbro Toy Shop leases the name Hasbro from Hasbro. That's essentially what it would be like, just on a smaller scale, and it'd probably cost too much money. I mean, the only way that would happen is if the guys that do auto assembly were to do it, but then again, they seem to have a pretty badass deal going on with what they're doing, so why have any more money come out of their pocket,
True. That's
So,
the
but
thing with all of them. It's like every single year is going by. It's not like I know you've got like loads of conventions in like Germany. For example, I was going to go to one what Ben's Collectibles was going to go to. Well, he did go to, but it's literally is like 20, 30 quid for a plane. It's literally just over the pond sort of thing. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, that'd be really cool to go to, but I'd rather see what it's like. It's like a really tiny, tiny room. And he said like all these people, you saw like the line going up to it, it looked amazing, but the room was like really small. And it's like auto assembly is like every single year I see it is growing. The numbers, like the people actually getting the tickets and like showing up and whatnot, numbers are doubling every single year. For the last 3 years, they've doubled what they've done in the previous year. Thus, getting better supplies, like better people going there. It's the name's getting bigger, basically. So it's like, would what I thought was like, well, seeing that it's like growing, maybe I don't know, nowhere now, but say I don't know, 5 years down the time, down the line, something like that. Would a big name convention think about coming over here? But yeah,
And that's another thing. It like that would be something that you would totally have to talk to the organizers of auto assembly about. Like, hey guys, would you consider leasing out the BotCon name? And essentially by leasing that name, you get some of the perks that come with it, like access to Hasbro mold or molds, production numbers, things of that sort. Where you could just do another year like it was in 2002, one figure, just to kind of test the waters. But at the same time, it's like that's gonna overall the figure is gonna cost everyone attending more. The leasing out the name is gonna cost everyone attending some more. So it's like it just depends on how open-minded they are to kind of leave what they made, what they created, being auto assembly, that their name, leaving that kind of dormant for a year just to tread those waters. But it wouldn't be a bad idea by any means, not in my opinion at least, especially considering how auto assembly is continuing to grow. But then again, that would be like saying, hey, TFCon guys, would you guys, lease the BotCon name for, like, BotCon Canada or something like that? And they're just going to, hell no. We got a pretty good deal going on right here. But auto assembly is a different story than TFCon anyways. So,
Sorry, this is a pain in the ass trying to get Jay back in here.
Did you go back to his Google Plus page and unblock him?
I have been going all over the place and such, so. I didn't know it was going to be that complicated. It's like, what the hell? But, quick question for you guys, and I forgot to talk about this on the Cybercast. Now, Jetfire's coming out. Now, we're thinking maybe what did you say, Dalton? Maybe July? You thought maybe?
August.
Okay. Now, is
Imagine.
a lot of that stuff being released with the movie stuff? Or since he's at a later date, will not be part of that whole movie line because aren't they supposed to be intermixing the generations with the movie toys?
yeah.
That's what it seemed like at first, but then I started looking at the movie toys packaging, and it was like...
It's probably just going to be released alongside it, like with the Prime and the movie line.
I think the original plan was to have it intermixed in generations, but the package art's different for both lines, so I don't know, something may have fell through there. But no, since the movie figures are officially due for release in like what, 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. Well, they're already hitting shelves places, I thought. But
yeah, that's why I said officially.
Yeah.
I would think that supposedly these movie toys, it's only going to be just a couple of waves, according to the various outlets, both news and like retailer wise. So I don't know.
I hope we don't get cut short like Dark of the Moon. I mean, it's like, I know I've said it like a million times, but I really want to see, even just for them, just like now, just to be like, hey, if we would have carried on, if we wouldn't have cancelled, this is the leader Megs we would have given you. I think it's kind of crummy. Still to this day, no one really knows. Well, obviously people know, but as in, like, the fans, we don't know what it's actually going to look like, or what it would have looked like even. It's like, I hope they don't do stuff like that on this line, because we gotta move this line quickly because like this line's coming out, but effectively isn't that why they've run 2 lines at the same time, or if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think the deal with that was just retailers over ordering the first 2 waves like they always do, and not
Then
so
some.
much Hasbro, because it was already time for new product, and the movies or movie 3 at that point in time was already pretty dried up, so retailers wanted the newer product. And granted, they had the remaining waves in their warehouses. They just kind of sent them off elsewhere, if I recall correctly, or canceled the shipment from China. So that's why, like, Soundwave came out in China,
Yeah.
and not here. So I think maybe they had the second to last wave in the warehouses here in America, and they just they sold them to, like, uh, what's that place called? Big Lots, Ross,
Oh,
TJ
yeah.
Maxx, places
Yeah.
like that. Which they knew. I mean, that's the norm. That's what happened to reveal the Shield in all of its glory.
And the Revenge of the Fallen Nest figures.
Yeah, well, a lot of those saw like mass retail release here.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, but a lot
I
of
saw a
them.
lot of the Nest stuff in my stores, but um, that I think is the big problem, because they always want to, like, stock up on these first couple of waves to make sure they don't run out of product. Yet whenever the hype dies, they're still left with that product, and then they've got 6 more waves sitting in their warehouse and 2 more that are getting ready to ship from China. It's like, there's not much leeway there.
But what do they do? I mean, say if like they made the mold, they got it. Basically, the only thing that's left is like back to ship it out. But as in this case, they cancel it. So what do they actually do with them? Say if they've already got them out, or
It's
at
it's
least they've made the
essentially
mold.
it's essentially released in the Asian market, and
Yeah.
and that's just, I mean, that they eat it up enough,
Look at
especially
Transformers
considering.
Prime. They did the same thing.
Yeah. They releasing it to the Asian market, like, essentially that will still put it in the hands of other collectors around the world. They're just going to be paying that unreleased quote unquote premium. So I
Kind
don't know.
of the
Typically,
scenario.
end of the year waves or end of the line waves are produced in such short numbers because of that very fact.
Hmm.
So I mean, there's that too.
We kind of saw the same scenario with the Prime breakdown. We never got them over here in the U.S., but they released them over there for, what was it, like $70?
Yeah. But I don't think they were going to
Well,
release them here in the States, were they?
no, they weren't. That was only the Takara version, because it had all the ARMS Micron ports.
Yeah.
Hasbro never released a breakdown on any market
Except for,
because,
yeah, except for the Legion.
well, I mean, the
Yeah, the
Voyager.
Cyberverse. Yeah.
Yeah, they never released the Voyager breakdown on any market because it was too expensive for them to put in the Voyager size class, whereas Takara has a lot of leeway with what they price things at. Um, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So they didn't even make it to the Asian market, sadly. But I think it didn't meet a couple of American, or just not American, but just toy standards in general. That Hasbro wasn't able to market it to its mass uh, consumers, like United States, Canada, England, places like that.
So, that's another one I'll have to track down about Con.
Good luck.
Tell me about
That
it.
I just
thing is crazy, crazy money grubbing. Like,
Can I just say something really quick? Remember, Zenith Forge was making the forearms for MPOA Grimlock, as in like upgrades, make him like a little bit taller
Hmm.
by like half an inch. Want to know how much those forearms are?
how much?
$50.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
wow.
Are they made from metal?
He said here's a new release to my Shapeways store. The much anticipated and highly requested larger forearms Transformers Masterpiece MPO8 Grimlock. These are being sold in conjunction with the original commissioner of the design. I apologize in advance for any big price, but I have little control over that, and these require a lot of material to make, thus inflated cost.
So he's probably having to pass along some of the money to the what I guess the original dude or whatever. Yeah, it
Probably.
makes sense, I guess.
Such a shame though, because I was really looking forward to that. They look awesome, but not 50. I mean, if it was like something to do with like the legs as well, because you got to think in robot mode. Okay, but now he's just got big chunky gorilla arms. It looks not too out of proportion, but it's like okay, oh, no more, no more, no more. So if
That's
they
why
did
you buy
something with the
Storia.
legs, yeah, true.
Or their upcoming own Grimlock,
Yeah,
which I'm kind of looking forward with Planet X. Aren't they doing a Grimlock as well?
supposedly.
Nice.
At least his hands are quite cheap. $17. It's
Depending
like
on the material,
one,
right?
two.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So we'll go on detailed plastic, for example. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go.
A detailed plastic would set you back like $27. Strong and flexible plastic, 18. Polished, strong, and flexible plastic, 17. So
Yeah, that sounds about right. I wish I could just like have the money to buy a 3D printer.
how much do they go for? Just like a rough guesstimate.
Oh, it's time to Google.
That was a terrible Batman impression. I'm sorry.
Okay, just kind of looking at the on the shopping cart of Google for $1,500 and then $2,500. Oh, and then 500, but it's temporarily out of stock. Then another 600, then 2,000, then 800. By the way, at JoeCon they actually had a 3D printer there, and they were like printing off weapons for some of the toys this year, which was cool. Like, how come they can't do that shit at BotCon? Oh, here's one that's a MakerBot Replicator 5th generation 3D printer. It's $2,900.
Jeez.
But then there's some of these that are like, DaVinci 2.0 dual head 3D printer, shipping in July of this year. It's a pre-order, $700. So I mean, they are getting to where they're kind of affordable.
Didn't we go over that in the Cybercast that Hasbro's joining forces with a company to do some type of 3D printing?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that may have been like what was kind of showcased at JoeCon too, because I remember the footage. It showed them 3D printing some stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Hopefully, maybe we'll see that at BotCon.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
They'll
That's for
probably
sure.
do that with the swords.
Oh, well, yeah.
They would make sense. But they also said the swords are coming in a souvenir pack with another figure, so they're still not super clear on that. But no
Or
surprise
exactly.
there.
Are they ever really super clear on anything?
Price. That's about it. They're always pretty clear about the price.
Is there any like benefits or like downsides about like going down the route of 3D printing, or is it really just comes down to like use of ease of use?
Here's
You know what I mean?
Because I have like religiously watched the Todd McFarlane's YouTube channel. Kind of touched a little bit on that on his video about like making the Halo figures. he got the 3D renderings and basically used his 3D printer to print these out. Well, you use this 3D printer to basically get what essentially is going to be like your prototype for something, and to make sure it looks good, and you need to sand off any excess or what have you, or just go back and reprint it again with the fixed changes through the software. But once you have that done and you've got all your pieces the way they need to be, then that's when you it's not polyurethane, but it's another what you use to cast like soft molds, and you can essentially do that with these, and then you inject the plastic and so on and so forth.
Would that be PVC or?
It's no to actually create the molds. Not so much the plastic used, but that's basically kind of like what you're, I guess, supposed to do. Although the plastic, and in some cases wax that these 3D printers use to print off, isn't terrible quality either. So, I mean, you do have that. Um, it just depends on, do you want just a little accessory, or do you want to start making like a full-fledged figure?
Mm.
So, if that makes any sense, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely want one because I'd like to kind of see how all that stuff works. I'd like to get good at something.
I would nuke everything. I would just make stuff just for the sake of it. Just saying, like, I've made custom stuff like Action Men, Power Rangers, Transformers, Biker Mice from Street Sharks. I'd just be like, just because you might not even need it, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. And just be like, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're cutting out the middleman, which is Shapeways. You're
Yeah.
completely cutting that out. And then like that's your $500 to $700 that you spent on this decent 3D printer.
If you're mad into like upgrades and stuff, say I don't know, if you have like a really large collection, it's like so much stuff on Shapeways. It's like I know it's quite cheap. The majority of stuff, say I don't know, we'll go from average to say Transformer wise. Keep it simple. Say $5, $10, something like that. Especially if you're going on, say like the whole Fall Cybertron add-ons or the game verse, right?
Mhm.
If you're like, I don't know, you look in your collection, say, again, argument's sakes, 20 figures in FOC, and you've got like your 4 or 5 in War for Cybertron. So it's like, if you want something on every single class, that's $5 each. So straight in that itself, that's $1,000. Just basically from that. What? Grand? What? No.
Come on,
Sorry, yeah,
Chris.
brain fart. Come on, we can do this. That's like 50 bucks, $100. I mean, max, or say quid even. Same thing. But if that's just from like one small line, if you're gonna go say Energon, for example, I mean, think about that. If you wanted something for every single one, think about how much it would cost you if there was something out there for
Oh my
Shapeways.
goodness.
If you wanted something for, I mean, this is going to be
Like hands
expensive,
for the
but to
combined Superlink Hotshot mold.
imagine anything for stuff that's like it desperately needs. Imagine add-ons or something to make Fat Prime slim. That's good. People would pay big money for that. So yeah, probably in like a year or two, you would get your money back, but only if you're into doing that stuff. Though
And
you're not
only if
really
you do
into
it
it,
super
but
good,
would make sense.
and then like paint it and all that other stuff. But then again, like we've seen with that Bruticus add-on set, like these companies are willing to take a look at a fan's creation and buy that from them.
Hmm.
So I mean, you have that too.
Okay, I found again talking about the low price of it, the weapon for Fantasy Project Weirdwolf, which you could use also with the G1, $6.50, $7. Rifle for Mirage, $7.
Yeah. Granted, there's some stuff. There's a guy on TFW. His name is Sunlink.
Hmm.
He's actually got a cannon for Protoform X. He's got the Rampage cannon, and like
Oh my
I've begged and pleaded that guy, like, dude, just put it up on your Shapeways so I can buy it, so I can have it whenever Protoform X gets in. He's like, maybe if I get enough demand for it. I was like, crap, I want it now. But it looks really good, and it integrates very well with the figure too.
That doesn't go on the forearm, hand, and on the.
Underside, it plugs in on the underside. I can't remember how, but I know it does.
Hmm.
But it's pretty tight.
Well, if
And
it's
he's
got the peg, it would probably go on the top too, wouldn't it?
maybe, but then again, the cannon's also on top of the stock cannon. So
Yeah.
it's Sunlink's Armory. That's who he is on Shapeways. So
Hmm.
he's got a bunch of other pretty cool stuff like G1 styled weapons for Chug figures.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Chromed.
Huh?
Chromed.
It's Shapeways. So
Oh yeah. So,
yeah,
forgot.
that's what sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if you know how to kind of do that. It's not really that difficult. All it is just like a shiny black paint, and you go over it with that metallic silver Krylon, and like there's your chrome weapons, just without being officially vacuum metallized.
Yeah. Cool.
So there's ways of working around it.
Quick question for you guys. I'm going to bring up G1 just because that's what I collect. But since the movie's coming out and so forth, which is fine, and we obviously know that the Encore series is taking a backseat to it, or might not even be around anymore. Do you think that because of the movie, we're going to get a relaunch again with the whole G1 reissues like we've done in the past? Probably calling it some other different name and going back and getting us an Optimus Prime, Starscream, all this type of crap again? Or do you guys actually think we're going to get an actual Masterpiece figure?
It would be a perfect
Not
time.
Masterpiece, sorry, G1.
It would be a perfect time if they were going to do like the reissues to do it now. I mean,
Yeah.
reissue Grimlock, and they're doing like, classics. It's it's Energon Grimlock, but same thing. Well, sorry for the purists out there, but you've got like Energon Grimlock to like Age of Extinction. Can't hear myself speak if I got two headphones on. Age of Extinction Grimlock. We have that. It's like they're going for like the old and new, so it's like to bring that out even further. They could push. Well, you don't really have to push yourself that much. I mean, it's kind of idle speed, but just put that out. They can chuck that in the midst of the hype. It's like, oh yeah, okay, a couple of things that we wanted to put out which we never really had the stomach to do like a couple of years ago. Some of the reissues, don't know if they would be any decent, but it's like, say, I don't know, Galvatron or something. Perfect. No, that was already reissued. You know what I mean? Like figures that that are going to be in the movie but haven't been reissued before. That would be, yeah, it would actually be a really good time to do it. But if that's a lot of, it all comes down as well to like shelf space. I mean, would they really say, I don't know, for example, Toys R Us, or like for the UK people like Argos, and I don't know if it's international, but Woolworths, would they actually put like alongside with their generations, their movie toys and everything else that's going to be around there, would they put reissue as well? Or if they was to say, I don't know, you could do it, say, it wouldn't be before the movie because they would have done it by now. But say if they was to do it, say just after the movie, not long after, let the waves come in, let them get their shine. So if you do it after, say a couple of months after, something like that, they would probably, I doubt that they would do anything along like that road because you're probably colliding with an upcoming like TV series, for example, like the new series that was coming next year or the year after. Same thing, same difference. But if they was to do it, they would do it now, and I'm guessing they're not doing it. But it's their, well, actually, it's double loss. It's our loss and their loss. But I don't know. I honestly don't know why they haven't done it. It's such a no-brainer to do.
Yeah, I just think they're not gonna. I think the Masterpiece line has pretty much taken over, and as far as reissued G1 stuff, it's cost of product is too much, and we're not going to be seeing it as much anymore. Even though the success with Fortress Maximus and all that type of stuff was great, but I think that they're going to trim it down to you get an Optimus Prime, Starscream, Soundwave probably.
What will they have available?
Yeah.
Same old, right?
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But I was just kind of curious because I've been noticing like the years so far they've dwindled down to. I mean, what was it? Last year we got the Shattered Glass, repaints of
Soundwave.
Blaster and Soundwave, and we got Fort Max. That was it. This year we've got nothing.
Those Shattered Glass repaints, those were shared exclusives too, I think, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
With
yeah.
E-Hobby.
Yeah. But we
I
haven't
think it was
gotten anything.
the first year that E-Hobby and the club did that too.
So I was just kind of curious, maybe, or should they go like that, or like as an exclusive, do it only E-Hobby. Maybe E-Hobby is the only company, kind of like how I mentioned before, where should Takara give or kind of go into a partnership with another company that will actually produce these molds for the collectors and do what you want with it, like Sonokong did for the Korean market, for the Brave toys, Beast Wars 2, all that type of stuff.
I think Hasbro should jump back on it. Just one thing I forgot to mention is like, I wonder how they actually decide on what to put out, how to market things, because anyone will know anything. It's like, right, it sounds stupid, but demand of local sources or local sources, the easiest. So, finger picking sort of thing. So you got eBay, right?
Yeah.
I'll look see what's going on eBay. Are they selling well? Are they still selling in box? If they are, it's like, right, if a lot is selling in box, it's showing, if say, like if I was a marketer, I'd be like, right, there's a lot of high demand of this for the perfect representation. Knockoffs, knockoff selling. Yeah, it's like, okay, even though we say the history of KOs, are they selling? It's like, even though that they're taking that risk of it being really, really crummy for a cheaper price, are they selling well? Say, I don't know, a complete set of a Devastator or Menacor or something, $30, which is basically like 40, 50 max quid mint box for that. If you don't care, like, just say, okay, I'll just pick that one, and well, you're basically putting a blind eye. You don't care if it's not authentic G1, but it's like you're putting it on the shelf. You're not going to do anything with it. No one else knows. It can be your dirty little secret. I would look into that market as well and see if there's still like demands for them. They should go into it. It's just, I have no idea what would make them not do it. I'm surprised I never actually thought of this now. Well, I've only got like 2 reissues, which is Magnus. I got both original Magnus and reissue Magnus. Long story, don't ask. And I've got, which is my only representation of G1 Prime, which is the reissue. Yeah, it would be perfect opportunity if they was to do it. Maybe they'll, I don't know, go left field and probably do something at the end of the year, like a random time, or they'll double up next year, which I know that's just being extremely wishful thinking, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day, when they first started doing this in 2000, I thought, oh, wow, this is going to be cool. We're going to get all the reissues, relive that childhood. And yeah, that hasn't, turned out too well. I mean, we got a good amount of the cars back then, but now it's just, hey, have you guys gotten an Optimus Prime yet? Would you like one with no smokestacks or short smokestacks? We'll give you that one. And then we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. And it just seems like I think it all deals down to cost, probably, because if you're looking at paying $80 for a masterpiece figure, which is supposed to be the cream of the crop, and you're coming out, let's say, they decide to reissue Prowl, G1 Prowl, and the Takara collection box thing again. That thing's going to come out probably about the same amount of money, because you have to pay the import costs and everything else in the sun. And now you have die-cast rubber wheels. I don't know. I would love to see something that's not like. Oh, I forgot. Last year we actually got Devastator. I forgot about that. We got the animated and we got the regular G1 Devastator. But I would love to see something that's different that we haven't gotten yet. Something maybe, I don't care if it's Japanese, just something that's different. It's getting tiresome because now I'm like I don't buy KOs, but I kind of now wonder, okay, what's the next KO that's going to come out? Because they're actually coming out with reissues. They got the Abominus, the Terracon set is out. The Technobots, that's already out. They're coming out. They already came out with Scorponok. I'm sure there's going to be a Black Xeric, maybe. I don't know. But all the combiners, it wouldn't surprise me if Lyle Kaiser is next.
Yeah.
Somehow. But
That really needs a reissue.
it's just very odd that these people are out there that are doing the KOs are smart enough to re-engineer all this stuff, but yet Takara and Hasbro that have the deep pockets don't want to continue a line for collectors besides the masterpiece.
do you think the price of, well, the cost, not the price, well, same thing. Do you think the cost of actually putting out the reissues we've gone into the Masterpiece line, that would explain why the engineering, not so much, there's two different things. There's the engineering, but the thought. What I mean about the thought that's lack of thought is like diecast and stuff like that. Is like, with your eyes closed, it goes the whole thing just briefly going into it, picking up quake wave, picking up sound wave, without knowing which one is better. You would say, as soon as you pick up sound wave, quake wave, it's like you don't even have to pick up the other one. You know this one will be better. Do you think it's like what they've kind of done is basically, I've lost my line of thought now. Just saw something on my table, so it's like, what? Thought it was crack. I do that a lot. I'm like a magpie. It's like squirrel or shiny.
Shiny. Ooh, coin.
Ooh, look, piece of candy. But do you think it would be, for what they're doing? It wouldn't make sense if they were doing it as like, okay, they're putting the cost of actually doing a reissue, put it into the Masterpiece line, because they wouldn't have done it this long, like the reissues, if they actually weren't getting a profit from it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it
because they didn't see. I don't know if they were just being greedy. It's like, well, we want to make 70% at least profit on every single one we're doing, like almost doubling our money per se, or do they just like, I don't know, we're only making like a little bit of money on it, so screw the fans who'll just, do whatever, put something else in, or not put something else at all.
Yeah. I think it's all. If you can make 70% on your stuff, you're gonna do it, or whatever. You're not gonna really give a crap about the fans, because they'll always dictate that. Well, we make toys for the kids. Collectors are only a small handful, which can be true, in a way, I guess. But we saw that with the Masterpiece figures that all of a sudden diecast. Most of them at the very beginning had diecast, and rubber tires and stuff, and then that changed. We griped, but it just went to pass, and we got these great figures. And the price of them are decent. My concern is the Masterpiece line is fantastic. It's still going. It's going to be great. But how long? How long are we going to be waiting for all these figures? I mean, we waited for the reissues back in 2000, and it just plummeted and just turned into nothing. Now we have brand new, line Masterpiece, and we know we're getting these, certain guys, but there is a ton of G1. If you release one a month, how long would it take you to get all the G1s? It's still going to take you quite a while. And, I would love to be able to, and this is just wishful thinking, to be young enough to enjoy them and not be 80 years old in a wheelchair. Oh, cool! I got, Diatlas, Masterpiece. Oh, he's so, come here, grandkid. Lift him up for me. I can't get him too much, to my hands and all this kind of stuff. This is great. I can finally do big powered if I only remembered what was going on, and all that. It's that type of thing that I'm just like,
yeah.
Who picks and chooses? And then if it's just G1, when are we going into Beast Wars? Have they even thought about that? I mean, that was, Beast Convoy was in the whole Masterpiece, voting. So they were thinking about that. They were thinking about, Armada. They were thinking about all these other, factions or series and stuff. That's a lot of Transformers to Masterpiece, and somewhat. And when is it going to happen?
That's the thing. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I would like to see him maybe do a second run of like the MP10 Optimus, or and the newer Soundwave that had all the tapes. Do a second run of them for the ones that missed out on the first time.
I think you're just out of luck there, Joe. Sorry. Stop crying over spilled milk. No, no, that makes sense. If you're going to be supporting that Masterpiece line and pushing that, then yeah, you should do exactly what they did with the reissues. Do an encore line. Redo them every other year. People are going to buy those, MP10s, especially if that's the scale that we're going with. I mean, I would love it.
Maybe they're testing the waters for that. Is like the whole thing of reissuing Grimlock. Is maybe that's like a subtle, like, okay, we're not just going to do it, is what people think, or what it actually probably is, don't know, is we'll do it just for the movies, like, you know, Grimlock and all that, but maybe there's like a second reason to it. It's like, can we get away with reissuing a masterpiece, like a well-known one, a really popular one from like years ago, and if that completely blows out the water, though, to be honest, off the cards that people shouldn't be buying the reissue because multiple reasons, but say if you was and it sells well and they say, oh, okay, well, Starscream sold pretty well as well, and Thundercracker, let's put it out them, and they resell well. It's like, oh, okay, so let's just, you know what I mean? But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there's loads of different things that they could do. It just depends. I'd like to think, in my own little way, they already got this stuff covered. They already thought of every possibility there is before we even, you know, probably years before we're talking about it now. They probably already, like what you said, the whole Beast War thing. That wouldn't have just come up by chance. That's probably been in the pipeline for a long time. As a failsafe, right? What do we do when sales start dropping? It's not a case of right. We've got a year to completely redesign the masterpiece and move on to another line. That would take a hell of a lot of planning. I mean, serious planning. So you're talking, yeah, probably a good like 2 years. Say if they had to redesign it now, it would take them like a year, 2 years, something like that. It'd be like probably like right, let's try and push out the rest. Well, not the rest, but let's try and do some big hitters that we know is a good chance we're going to get a last bit of juice out of the G1 line. Let's go into Beast Wars. Is from the chance of them doing that, I'd say it's pretty decent, pretty what's the word? Probable? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty probable if they would do that. But it's same again. It's like, I mean, imagine if it's like another 10 years before they decide to jump ship. I mean, say, well, I don't know, 10, 15 years, we'll say, if Transformers lasts that long. I mean, how you're left with the same boat. If you'd leave it, say, even just 10 or 15 years, like I said, it's like, I'm 24 now. I mean, I grew up a really young age. I briefly remember Beast Wars from watching when I was a kid. But it's like, in 10, 15 years' time, I'm going to be 30. That makes no sense. I'm going to be 40. I haven't had a cup of tea in a couple of hours, so I'm suffering from brain damage at the moment. But it's like, I'm going to be 40. Can I see myself collecting Transformers? Is how I'm collecting them now? Probably not. So it seems that the whole Beast Wars, well, okay, the exception of Dakota would get him until he's probably, you know, probably do like an after payment when he's dead. It's like, oh, I'll just ship it on top of my coffin and I'll be one
That's
with the
actually
rest
the
of
plan.
peace.
Mausoleum.
Ah, there you go.
I have a
Um,
bank account set up just for that reason.
I will pre-order everything. I will sculpt everything and say, you know,
Why are
I
these
bought
things
two
going to a
burial plots
cemetery?
right next to mine, so they just drop them in the hole.
yeah.
Yeah, here comes UPS up the drive at a cemetery. We're looking for this marker. Got a package.
Actually, when I die, they're gonna do to me what they did to Arnim Zola. So I'll just be a bunch of computers, and I'll
Big
still
old
get to enjoy them.
chest.
While all you G1 lovers are gonna be old and decrepit. I'll get to see all of mine.
Well, I'm freezing myself. I'm gonna freeze myself. Just like this. So everyone can just put a box in my hands. Just rotate it every week. I can just have a box of just some G1 toy with a smile. And there you go. But yeah, I never thought about that. Like, I had someone ask me a question, you know, how long am I gonna keep collecting? Till I die or till I lose interest? I mean, why am I still doing it? And like what you brought up, Chris, am I gonna continue buying Transformers? You know, or is Takara gonna try and keep suckering me in there as like with like the masterpiece line or whatever it may be to keep me collecting or third party stuff and stuff like that? But you know, yeah, I've never thought about like being 60 years old and like, okay, I'm still collecting Transformers and all this other type of stuff. I don't know. It seems odd to think about it now and to wonder what it's going to be like down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, have a look around you. It's like, I can't look around me now because my stuff's upstairs. It's like I look around my room. It's like, if I was to say be collecting, I mean, some people, I know some Transformer people are like in their late 40s and they're still doing it, but it's like, I mean, I would have to have a house just for plastic. I mean, and then
A whole
garages.
Hall of Archives type thing.
It would be impossible. I mean, you just don't have the room, and you wouldn't want to sell anything because, I mean, I don't know. It depends what type of collector you are, but it's like I buy things for specific reasons. I'm not. I'm not like, oh, that was from that line. I'm just gonna get that. So it's like my first, well, more or less, almost, complete line of say, Energon, for example, or say for Cybertron, War for Cybertron, it's like I would never want to sell them because they're like, well, one is my most favorite, but I grew up with them and so on and so forth. But it's like, would I want to sell them to make space for like new things that's coming out in like 10, 15 years time? I would never want to do that. But so you basically sat down and it's like, do you want to carry on with this? Or do you want to keep collecting and literally to the point as you're selling like shelving, you're selling like, it's like I had a crazy thought basically like I don't know, about 10-15% of my room is a gym, which basically is more or less like the area around here. I'd say, I don't know, 15 foot, something like that. The space it takes up. I've got like multi gyms, running machines, and stuff like that all in the corner of my room. I was contemplating on selling that for more space for Transformers and stuff because I'd want to put like, well, not just Transformers, but I'd want to put like detolfs, probably make custom shelving, stuff like that. But then I just sat back and thought, I'm nuts. Why would I want to do that? I mean, that would literally, I know, I haven't done it now. This was months ago I thought about this, but it's like, that's the path it would probably start being taken over my life. It's like, I'd literally, I'd be ended up with like, I don't know, a recycling box for clothes and you just got like a bed sheet on the floor to make more room, and make like a bridge of Transformers and yeah, you can tell that would be a very dark road to go down, but
Be a fun one. It'd be kind of fun. Be a little fun there.
Imagine your collection. Look behind you and think, how many years you've been collecting now?
I've been collecting probably 15.
Right. So literally look behind and think double.
Yeah.
If
I took this room and my other room, yeah, it's pretty sick. My parents constantly tell me I'm sick. I have something wrong with me, but I don't know.
Two of us.
So.
But you also collect like 2 lines that are like pretty much have like 1 million figures in each of them too, between G1 and Brave.
Yeah. Yeah. And G.I. Joe, Star Wars.
Yeah, so that's about 5 million more figures you need to complete.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, imagine selling all them one day. You'd be millionaire easy if you carried on collecting probably for like 15
Keep
years.
that quiet between your. Don't want my wife hearing that. Don't want my wife hearing that. Get access to my eBay account and be like, "Why is all my stuff on? Why are you taking pictures of my stuff? No reason."
Insurance reasons.
Just seeing how much things are worth. Oh my God. We could get that new car, you bastard.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Oops.
Yeah, that kind of slipped my mind.
But
have you ever told her, like, say, I don't know, if she ever asked, what's the most expensive thing you have, or like, you've got like a glory wall of like expense and stuff?
To be honest, my wife kind of stays away from my collection.
Nice.
She knows. Yeah. No. But no, she knows what I collect. She understands the cost behind it, but she's just not engrossed in it. I mean, I mean, I can sit at the dinner table and tell her, hey, oh man, I just found this, and it's just like, whoosh, like, that's fine. Is it going to break the bank? No. I don't care. Whatever. Do you have room for it? Yeah. You're not going to encroach on the family room? No. Okay. I don't care. And she'll go in and she'll look at, it's like, oh, that's really cool. But if I ever start telling her, like, and adding up things for over the years, because I've been married for 12 years, been together with my wife for about 15. So she's been with me as I start collecting.
Yeah.
And she'll just be like, oh my, what? No. And then she'll start thinking and start adding up over the years and thinking, what type of life could I've had? What the hell? We have 2 kids.
What kind of
and
regrets
this,
are there now?
and all this type of stuff. But I will tell you, it's a joy. It's an absolute joy to actually have my kids. My daughter's 2, so she's kind of understands. But my son, being 6, loves going into my room, and his friends that come over. I'm the popular dad. At school, I'm the one that people want to spend the night at and just kind of check out, and not only just for the toys, because I have the cartoons, I have all this type of stuff. It's just it's a fun place to come to, but I look really odd and weird with the other parents, because it's like, oh, so you're Ken's dad, got the big toy collection, huh? Yeah, my son won't stop talking about you. Sorry.
My son idolizes you. Thanks for making me feel like a failure as a parent.
Yeah, I was like, now I'm out there trying to buy, what is this product thing I'm trying to find, and what? Just
Like, just think, they're probably going to be the parents that start buying all the kids alcohol. And just like get you back. Like, yeah, who's the cool parents now, dick?
But it's fun to kind of share that with my son and so forth. But someday I'm probably going to end up giving him some of it that I'm not even dealing with anymore. Like Star Wars, I have a ton of the Clone Wars stuff, and I'm not takes up space, so I'm probably just going to end up unloading it onto him and whatnot. So, but I don't know. Collecting's fun, but collecting, if you start dwelling on the cost, it's just, it gets to be a
Crazy.
real downer.
See, for me, that's different. Dwelling on the cost, it makes me feel better about it, because, it's like, here's something pretty awesome and pretty expensive that only a select number of people in the world are only going to be able to have the same type of display.
Yeah.
That's how I look at that. I don't know. I guess I take pride in the cost of everything.
I do too, but it's hard. Like, I think you talked about this before, Dakota, but like for me, and I think for you, we're in an area that we don't have a lot of collectors.
Yeah.
That kind of express and kind of feed off of each other, and kind of just to be able to talk to someone that has the same interest and has the same passion, has the same drive, and whatnot. And it's it's nice to have all this, but it feels like you're alone. It's like, oh man, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is, like, there's all my friends, every time they come over, they're like, so you still got all that stuff? I'm like, yeah, I want to see it. Like, they're in awe by it, and they're like, so how much does this one cost again? I'm like, don't ask me that question. But then there's like just a great example. My friend Cody, he he's like, he likes it. He likes the concept of it, but he's just at a point in his life to where he can't afford any of the. He couldn't even afford to, essentially, like, right now start even buying retail stuff. Just because of where he's at personally in his life. But him and his girlfriend both, like, they've come over here and just, like, slobbered all over my floor, looking at everything, and just learning about it all. So, like, that's, it's like, there's like collectors that haven't started even collecting yet in this area. And it's like, I look at them and I was like, you don't want to buy what I buy. Like, especially since you got a kid, the economy down here is not as good as one would prefer it to be. There's more minimum wage jobs down here than there are decent paying jobs. So it's like, I don't know, it's hard, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I've had friends come over, and majority of it is just, it strikes nostalgic feelings. because they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I had that," and then they'll give me their life story, which I've heard and it's fun, but deep down they don't have that drive and passion to go out and collect and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But and it's cool to be able to hang out with you guys, and you guys have the same kind of passion, whether it's a small collection, large collection, doesn't matter. I don't really care. I know it's just that drive. It's that kind of camaraderie, community type of feel, which is cool and such. So.
And geez, dude, you've been collecting for 15 years?
Around there. Yeah.
God almighty, I wish I could have started that long ago.
Too.
Yeah.
I
Talk
would have
about the
been
whole-
8 years old. So I still had quite a bit of stuff, but not yet. So that helps a lot too. I've been collecting for 4 years, but I've only been really been focused collecting for the last 2.
Same.
I've
So
been
it's a lot.
collecting for the past 7 years, and I'm really focused for the past 4, 5.
Yeah. It's hard starting collecting at first because you don't know. For me, it's because I have so much that I collect. I dive over here, I dive over here, I dive over here, and I haven't focused like Transformers since I blame Shout Factory with those Japanese DVD sets that they came out with, and that's when I kind of tunnel visioned into those. But yeah, and G1 stuff, but it was just a hodgepodge of stuff, and it just after years you think, oh, I have this small collection, and you look at your shelf and you're like, oh, I have 7 figures, and all of a sudden before you know it, it multiplies like rabbits, and you're like, wow, it's this big, it's this big, it's this big, and it can be a a hodgepodge of everything in there, but it grows, and you're like, oh man, and like for me, I've had people ask me, what advice would you give someone for collecting to at least like display? If you're gonna collect and you're gonna continue to collect, think about how you want to display them now before your collection just becomes huge, because you can't, if you put in shelving that's actually permanent and it's adjustable, but it's there, you got to think about that. Is that how you want to display your stuff? You want the detop shelving with the glass and all that and make room for it, kind of like what Proto Man did. He put all those nice plexiglass shelving that's just absolutely like 10 feet tall or something in his house. Cost a lot of money, but in the long run, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to do that and not like, well, I'm growing here, and then I got it. Well, there's wall space over here. I'm going to slap on a shelf over there, and then, okay, that's full. I got a little bit above the window. I might put some shelving up there, and kind of want to have
That's what I
a
like
game
about
plan.
buying bookcases.
Same
Just
here.
just start lining them up on the walls.
Yeah. So.
Just take them apart for easy moving.
And hopefully, if I get this job as a glass installer, I'll get discounts on a lot of these glass places, and I can have custom cut glass to start making my own glass cases for some of my more prized possessions,
Well,
like the 96 to
Rock
04
on
stuff, the 06 stuff.
yeah. So curious question for you, Dakota, since you're a
What's
you're a
up?
BotCon figure collector,
Mhm.
and what's going to happen when you pretty much get all of the BotCon stuff? What are you going to kind of focus?
Well, at that point, I'll hopefully be pretty caught up because I'm kind of, between just the rest of the BotCon sets and figures and Collectors Club figures. As soon as I get all of them, which I'm not too far behind, which I say all of them except for the figure subscription service 2.0 stuff, because no thanks. Although I may track it down, I don't know. I'll definitely want it for less than what someone paid for it. I'm tracking down both BotCon and Japanese and American Beast Wars too.
Yeah.
So it's like, but at the same time, it's like I'm looking at the Japanese Beast Wars stuff. There's 2 more play sets that are gonna set me back, maybe about $300 for the both of them, $350 give or take. And then the Blentrons, and the only one Blentron that's really going to put me back is trying to find an Elaforca. And he gets pretty expensive. After that, it's just going to be nothing but like cheap purchases.
Yeah.
So like I'm almost there. You know, I'm probably because I want all the BotCon sets. You know, '07 is dead last. Um, I mean, dead last, just because it's such an irrelevant set. And honestly, I just want to have it just so I can say I have all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, I'd probably just review it and tell everyone that watches it, don't buy this set. It's pretty much pointless. It's definitely not worth the money, but uh, you know, between like the '08 stuff, all of the '05 stuff, you know, I'm probably looking at maybe 5,000 or 6,000 more for everything up until just the 2007. 2007 will probably set me back another 1,500, 1,600, depending on how good of a deal I can get. So, you know, it's putting that into perspective. You know, maybe 7Gs, just to finish up the BotCon stuff. Not including 94 and 95, but finding those is pretty easy, believe it or not. But just finding it for a decent price, because that whole 94 breakdown, that holds no kind of value to me, other than I just wanted to say I have it. The Japan, the BotCon Japan 2000 stuff, like I think it's like an Action Master Galvatron and a Choro Q Mirage, like that's irrelevant. I don't want that. Sorry, I've been having a cold like the last day. 98 Japan Double Punch, that's not going to set me back but about $200, $300.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, there's not a whole lot left. You know, I'd say maybe between that and all the Beast Wars stuff, $8,000, $9,000, give or take. You know, it just depends on how market value is. And then, of course, keeping up with current offerings. I really want to get to the point to where I don't have to backtrack or focus. I can just wait for stuff to come out.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, it'll be like Wreckers, any Wreckers that come out. So that's really what it's all about now. But until then, I still have to backtrack and still keep up with current exclusive offerings.
Yeah. How about for the rest of you guys? Any specific line that you guys would love to complete?
For me, Chug and maybe animated. That's really it for me.
Not really a specific line, just certain figures I know I definitely want to get my hands on. You know, like the Dotson brothers, Prowl and Smokescreen, and start with the new Dinobots that are coming out that Fans Toys is putting out. Definitely want to definitely want to get my hand on all the Mastermind Creation Predacons.
So you're all over the place.
Yeah.
Right on. That's an expensive wish list.
Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Chris?
Well, I'm like 8 or 9 away from getting every single, well, apart from like repaints, is the ones I did own but I sold, Quick Strike.
Yeah.
Sold him probably, I don't know, a year or two ago, something like that. But yeah, I'm more or less, off the top of my head, just to round it up, I'm like 10 figs away from getting the whole thing of Energon, but I haven't bought like one single Energon figure probably about a year or two, just because I have no room. It's like, if things basically, it was this bad, I had to take off, Vortex is the purple one of Bruticus, right?
Yes.
Had to take him off and basically put him into a box, because it was like you had like who was on the end? Back then it was Hotshot and Ironhide were basically really squished on the end, and if I had that arm on, it's like balancing. You'd have to, like, as you're walking past my shelf, it'd be pretty easy probably to knock it off. So it's like I've taken his arm off just to squeeze him in, because Ironhide, he is a bit on the chubby side. So, and with Prime sat right next to him, you know, it doesn't help. But yeah, stuff like that is, I'd love to finish it, but there's no point. I mean, especially if I've got no more shelving. But to be honest, I'm probably just going to make my own shelving. It's cheaper, it's easier. I know how to make my own. I'm not like the world's greatest carpenter, but it's in like basic wooden shelving. One thing what me and my dad's going to try and work on is what I saw someone do is their like display is basically it's like kind of like a cabinet slash wardrobe. It's Metroplex. I'd love to do something like that. Um, I would basically within like all the sculpting and stuff is in like the concepts is like his chest opening up and this and that you would be able to somehow transform him a bit, though that I would never transform it, obvious reasons. But is in stuff like that and like painting, my dad would do. But that's something I've wanted to do for a long time. If I can do that, then I'd love to do that because I could basically have like Energon on say like his left leg, that's my right leg, same thing. I could have like one line on there, one line on there. I could have like G1 on one row. There's so much possibilities what I could actually do with it, but
That's
until
pretty
I
tight.
actually do, it's awesome. I'd have to put it up. I'll post it on the website on general discussion or something. Just I don't know. I'll probably make a thread. It's like uh, display ideas. What do you guys reckon or something? I don't know. But I've seen some of these people that got so creative with the display. I'd love to do something like that. That's right up my alley. Obviously, time, money, space.
Yeah.
I would love
Cost
to
of
do
wood
a
ain't cheap
display.
either.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do like a G.I. Joe display, like an action display and like a Star Wars and stuff like that, but it takes up a lot of room.
You know, I've always wanted to get into the JoeCon box sets. I was really thinking about buying the one from this year. I still kind of am thinking about it. Just to kind of say I have one. You know, I'm not really like a huge G.I. Joe collector. Don't really know too terribly much about it.
Mhm.
But the JoeCon stuff has always interested me, and I guess it's just because of the way Fun Publications, the way they present their exclusives and their box sets and whatnot.
Yeah.
Man, some of those previous years, like, they can get stupid expensive.
Yeah.
I didn't know GI Joe stuff like you know the JoeCon, Joe Club stuff really went up in value like that.
Oh yeah.
But I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a line that I love collecting because it is expensive, but it's what I grew up with. It was the cheap kind of alternative to Transformers because you can get a lot of guys and play around with and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
any other topics you guys want to kind of talk about, or do you want to kind of end it here because we've been going on for about an hour and a half? So
One quick thing, you've got like 26 comments if you want to send Dakota or yourself over to there. There's a lot of people.
okay,
Oh, I don't have any of that pulled up, so.
let's see here. Well,
Yeah.
holy schmoly. Let's see. Let's go with the most current. Um, let's see. BVZXA3 says he would finish the chug and get it back into Brave again, since I guess I've been persuading him to get back into Brave.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he already knows because he's commented on my stuff, and he knows what Brave's all about. They're a line that you need to get back into. They're fun. They need love. But Godbot says 2 rooms. I thought James did his webcast from a store. That's what my kids think. Transformers Guy 223 says I've been collecting for about 10 years and I'm only like 13. Like, wow, really? Again, BVCXA3 says my wife does the same thing. She valued her RC collection through eBay, and he also states that if they keep making figures I like, I will buy. Maybe it'll keep me alive. LOL. He also states I think the engineering going into Masterpiece is what holds it back. If the masterpiece. If they masterpieced every figure, we would be old, and I'm 41. In a
Oh, poor
way,
guy.
yeah, I know.
Yikes.
That's sad. You're never going to see the entire line. I'm sorry. Um, in a way, third party is going to fill the void for some, and I think that I think they all go hand in hand to keep Transformers alive, which is true. Trans 5, thousands of years of now, if archaeologists dig up Dakota and remove his Beast Wars figures, they will enact ancient curse and he'll haunt them. So there you go.
It's pretty true. I do have a witch doctor that lives like 2 doors down, and they said everything was going to be okay.
And then G1, Robbie Reap says G1 Dinobots, and says I don't think so, and must have pertained to some conversation. I don't know what. And Josh states that we covered the third of the 3D printer on the New York Toy Fair episode. And also is telling us that Predaking was another Japanese robot company design, but they never went forward with it and sold the prototype to Hasbro. That's why he's much bigger than the other combiners from that time, and is colored red, orange, yellow, which you didn't see with the other season 3 characters.
Oh.
The more you know.
Headstrong is supposed to be yellow, and the way I look at it is Mastermind Creation has their own design, so that if we get a Masterpiece version, you wouldn't mind keeping it.
True.
He doesn't like the other versions, and he would sell them if he got a TFC and a Unique Toys version.
Yeah.
So, and that's I'm gonna kind of stop with all those. That's a lot of stuff there, but appreciate it, and I appreciate all the live viewers, and your comments and stuff. And I apologize, Jay. Sorry for booting you out, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll probably have the wrath of Jay, or he'll haunt me now. But
He's gonna like run over your collection with his Mack truck.
he's driving right now, just cursing my name constantly. But I really do appreciate you guys being on the show. Appreciate all the live viewers. Again, check out our website, www.cybercastnetwork.com. Check out our. Now, are you going to shorten the name, Dakota? I mean, we've talked about it. You've talked about it. The whole Transformers discussion, CCN topics show.
Man, it's like I don't even know of a shortened name to even give it. We'll call it.
Cybercast Talk Show.
We'll call it the Dakota Happy Hour.
Okay. Well, join us for the Dakota Happy Hour on the Cybercast Network channel.
What makes it a happy hour is it's only 30 minutes long, so.
Yes.
Yep.
And it starts at what time?
6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Cool. All right, if you guys want to give out your information, we'll start with Dalton.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube at Daltonians TF Reviews, and on Twitter at Daltonians TFs95.
And Dakota.
Everything at Primal Sabbath.
Cool. Chris.
YouTube and Facebook, Barrett Prime Games, and is the conclusion we came to earlier. Yes, if you do type in the name Barrett Prime and his name happens to be Chris, I do know it's me. I still haven't thought of it, so I don't know. I'm sorry. Just take a gander, have a wild crack, and go from there.
All right. And Charles?
I'm Charles. You can find me on Twitter at Optimus4Prez, and Xbox Live is AutoCon365.
And I'm James. You can find me YouTube, Twitter, VictorySaber77. So have a good weekend, guys, and thanks for joining us.
Take care.